We're broadcasting live from Minneapolis Urban League headquarters in North Minneapolis, the Glover Sudduth Center for Neighborhood and Economic Development. We thank our sponsors. We thank especially Hennepin County Medical Center, UCare Minnesota, and Comcast. Comcast is Twin Cities' leading provider of entertainment, information, and communications products and services, serving more than 600,000 customers throughout the Twin Cities metro area, along with employing more than 2,000 local residents. In 2008, Comcast opened a cutting-edge technical training facility here in North Minneapolis. It houses the training of more than 600 to 800 Comcast employees per year. We thank Comcast for their support. Today, I want to focus on job creation and construction. We're going to be joined momentarily by City Council member Elizabeth Glidden from the 8th Ward. We're talking about the Mark II. Mark II stands for Marquette Avenue, 2nd Avenue construction project in downtown Minneapolis. And the general proposition is that as public dollars go into creating public works projects, meaning building, road construction, things like that, transportation projects, should our community expect a chance to have jobs on those sites? We've talked about this before, and I guarantee you we'll keep talking about this issue. It's extremely important. At the end of the day, we want to be in a position to know for sure that we are getting what we believe is our fair share. If our tax dollars go into creating revenue building, revenue making projects, construction projects, should we not be able to enjoy the opportunity to work and earn some of the money as well? And one of the people that's been an advocate, a champion for getting our people ready for the workforce is my guest, Roosevelt Gaines. Roosevelt Gaines directs the Urban League training program. Roosevelt, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Al.
And let's talk about the project, not the project, but the prospect, the idea of getting our people ready, first of all, and if we get ready, what we should expect. First of all, let me ask you to give a background on the Urban League's long history of training and getting people ready to work in the world of work.
First of all, my name's Roosevelt Gaines. I'm a trade specialist here at the Urban League. The Urban League doesn't do training, okay? We help people find jobs in the building and construction trade, and that means they come through the door of the Urban League. We find out what trade they're interested in going in, and then our goal is to assist that person, if they don't have any skills, to identifying the particular trade, building trade that they would like to go into, and then at that point, get that person connected up with the trade unions of that craft. If they are accepted, then we take them and get them a job. We get them registered with the apprenticeship program. We pay their initiation fees and their union dues. We get them their tools, their work boots, their winter clothing if they need it. If they have skills, then we look at trying to get them placed with a construction company, making a livable wage.
You know, but when you drive around too often in this neighborhood, even North Minneapolis and certainly downtown, you see lots of people holding up signs that say stop and yield, people operating heavy equipment, tearing up roads, building roads, people who are trades and craftspersons doing the repair and refurbishing and rebuilding of these public projects. But what you don't see, what you rarely see, is our people, and by that I mean black people in particular, but also other people of color. And the question is why? And often we have this discussion in the community that even in our neighborhood where you would expect we get a chance to get the jobs, we don't get them. What is the reason for that, and what's your take on that?
Well, you're absolutely right, Al. I mean, you can drive any road, any highway, look at any project, and you'll find that we won't be represented. And the reason for that is that the people who are in charge of holding these contractors accountable are not doing enough to make absolutely sure that they're meeting their compliance goals. I mean, this community should be outraged if there's a project going on, and we're taxpayers. Mm-hmm. We're taxpayers in this city, and to not have our folks have an opportunity to work on some of these projects is a slap in our face, as in this community's face, because it's been going on too long. Everybody's guilty. You could look at the city, you could look at the county, you could look at the park boards, you can look at Metropolitan Airport Commission, you could look at all of those groups. And it's pretty hard for me to make you comply if I'm not in compliance myself. And I think that's the major issue. You know, that's one of the reasons why. There's got to be some penalty for not complying. I mean, if you don't comply once, then, you know, maybe we'll, you know, pass some type of sanction. If you don't do it, if you do it twice, then maybe you should not be getting contracts with the city of Minneapolis and the county.
The problem, as you say, is when the city itself is not in compliance, when the city is violating its own law, when the county and when the state and the Metropolitan Council themselves are not meeting their legal standards and requirements, it's hard for them to hold a private industry accountable.
Absolutely. And I think what's got to happen, I believe this, if you look at if you go back, all sometimes we have to do is look at what happened in the past on how we corrected things as a community.
Let's talk about that. How do we do it?
Well, I mean, if you have to shut down a project, I'll give you an example. There was a Klein Underground sidewalk company putting some sidewalk in, and another one last year putting sidewalk in North Minneapolis. And they had no minorities. So I stopped and asked the guy, and they were doing work for CenterPoint Energy. And I said, I don't see any people of color. And he said, well, we don't have to have any. We're subcontracted by CenterPoint Energy. Well, we pay our utility bills to CenterPoint Energy. We should have some folks on. So that means that if you're putting down sidewalk, I need to get a group of folks that need to go to that site. Every time you finish the sidewalk, we'll walk through it. Okay? And I mean, those are the tactics that's going to have to take place for folks to get it, that we're not going to put up with this anymore.
Some people might say the problem is in part that our people don't want to work,
That's
or
not true.
don't want the jobs, or that they can't find qualified black people or minorities to get the jobs. What do you say to that?
That's absolutely not true. I've got hundreds of folks upstairs on my caseload that range all the way from folks that have no experience to 10, 11-year journey workers that are out of work right now trying to find work. I think it's important that folks understand that, you know, there are folks out there that want to work. There's some great companies out there, you know, that have no problems meeting their goals and are in compliance all the time. And those are the companies that I think should be getting awarded some of the contracts. I'm not going to name any names, but there are some contractors out there that haven't been meeting their goals for 8, 9, 10 years. And then the city continues to do business with them. I mean, I was talking to a county commissioner, and I said, you know, I was coming home from work the other day, and I saw about 16 trucks parked, Hennepin County trucks parked on the side of the road. I didn't see one minority. I didn't see one female. All I saw was a group of middle-aged white guys driving the trucks. I mean, that's not a good match for the county to have those disparity in numbers of people of color and women on sitting in those trucks. Now, I can give MnDOT some credit here because they have done some things in the last year. They just hired, I think, 24 people, you know, technical folks, and they've gotten some Urban League folks. They've gotten some, you know, we've done some recruiting for them. So they're at least trying to starting to get it that this community is upset about that.
Let's come back in a minute and talk more about this. I'm Al McFarlane. You're listening to Conversations with Al McFarlane, broadcasting live from the Minneapolis Urban League in North Minneapolis. We invite you to join us today and every Tuesday for the Conversations with Al McFarlane broadcast. We also want you to listen to us online at kfai.org. We're available around the world. If you're listening on radio, stay with us. Stay